What's up guys, Nax Tech here, and in this video I'm going to be doing a browser performance review on my Nexus 10 tablet. I'm going to start off with Google Chrome, and then I'm going to go on to some browsers that I've installed to show you the differences. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do each browser, a review on each browser, and then the benchmarks at the end of each browser. And I'm going to fill in the scores on my little chart here, and we're going to see what the best browser is and all that stuff. So let me go ahead and start with Google Chrome here. I'm going to say what I like about Google. Let me just close all these tabs out. I'm going to go ahead and say what I like about Google Chrome first, and that is all this stuff that you can do here, like the bookmarks sync with your desktop, syncs with your other devices. What I really like about Google Chrome is the fact that it syncs all your passwords and history. So when I type that in, it knows on my home computer that I've been on Engadget a lot and all this other stuff, and it turns up here, and it's a real time saver. But let's check out the performance on this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit go on Engadget. So you can see it loads the website very quickly, but obviously because I was waiting on that a long time, it was already preloading it. And yeah, the performance is okay on Chrome. It seems like it's not typically amazingly smooth, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to reload that because it wasn't really a fair test. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Engadget again, and there we go, and it's loaded again quickly. But you can see there, when I scroll down, there's these big white spaces which really kind of make the tablet look like it can't handle it. It's not the case, it can handle it. It's just Chrome on Android, or at least on this device, isn't performing very well. It needs an update. It needs to be better. I mean, the stock Android browser beforehand, what we used to have, was better than Chrome, and now they've made this the stock, and I just don't think it's good enough yet. It came out of beta recently, and I don't think it should have, because you can see it just can't keep up. And now most people, when they look at this, and indeed they did in the early reviews, they said, oh, the Nexus 10 tablet wasn't great at browsing because the CPU wasn't strong enough, it couldn't keep up. I can tell you now that's a load of crap, because it can, and I'll show you that later. Another thing I don't like about Chrome is it doesn't zoom in too well, does it? It just kind of zooms in a little bit. It's not good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and load another website that's called The Verge. This is quite a heavy website. Let's see how this fares. Pretty quick there, pretty quick on loading. The whole page should be loaded now. There's no stuff going on. You can see again the whiteboard's a tad laggy, but this is a very heavy website. There's lots of pictures, and you can see it there. What I need to say about this display again is websites look fantastic on it. Text is so sharp. But I'm not here to talk about the display. I'm here to talk about the browser performance. And you can just see Chrome is really clunky. Once it all loads and you fling around the page a bit, it's okay. But in my experience, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough to be the stock browser yet, and there is just some issues. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to check out what it's like when I open more than one tab. So let's go ahead and hit up Engadget here. We'll go ahead and hit Android Central here. Open another one and hit Android Community. Yeah. You can see there's some slowdown there. It's trying to keep up with me. And the last one, we'll just open YouTube. You can see as everything's loading in the background now, it is slowing down. And we'll go ahead and hit YouTube, and it's open the mobile site. So let's see how it's performing. So we'll go ahead and click on The Verge. It's all still there. Again, a bit slow on The Verge on Chrome. Let's hit up Engadget. Yeah, that's all there, loaded nicely. You can see 2 GB of RAM means it doesn't have to reload the website even if you've got multiple tabs open. Android Central is all there. Android Community, you can see it's white for a bit, and then it should eventually come into its own. I had to tap it there, but it was all there. And again, you can see the white checkerboarding, that's all there. And then YouTube at the end again is all there, so you can tap through these, see white, and it should eventually, it's not reloading because there's no bars, it's just white for a bit. And you can see you can tap through them quite nicely, and there's not much slowdown. except for that one as I said that. But that's Chrome for you. I am not a big fan of it, even though I'm a massive fan of it on my computer. I think on Android it needs a lot of work. So let's go ahead and hit up some benchmarks here. Go ahead and hit, the first one will be SunSpider, which tests the core JavaScript performance. Now, I'm not going to make you watch all these, and I'll just skip to the end of the results. So, and we're done, guys, and you can see here Chrome on SunSpider comes in with a kind of unimpressive 1343. I'm just going to go ahead and write that on my chart. 1343.9 milliseconds. This CPU is worth a lot more than that. I can tell you this is just browser problems with Chrome. It's really kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. You know, there's devices that are a lot worse off and hit a lot better, but Chrome slows them down. So we'll compare that with other results as we go along, but let's go ahead and hit out the HTML5 test. Now this one I don't have to skip because it doesn't actually do really a test, it's just very quick. So we'll go ahead and hit this up. Now Chrome actually does quite well here, 390, it's one of the top rated ones. So we'll go ahead and write that down on my little chart. 390 and 11, so we'll put plus 11 there. You can see it's running Chrome 18. These benchmarks are slightly better than the ones earlier reviewers did because it did have an update. But they're still not great in my opinion. Now BrowserMark has a new browser benchmark, it's version 2. So this is again quite a long one. You can see it's recognized all the good stuff. Hit Europe and launch. And I'll go ahead and skip this as well because I think it lasts 4 or 5 minutes. So yeah, I'll see you guys at the end. And we're back, guys, with the results, and you can see it's found out that it's a tablet. It says here your browser is superior to 40% of all tablet browsers. Now one thing that I'm going to say about these benchmarks is they are just numbers, really. I mean, we are pushing a lot more pixels than most of these, but we scored 1724, so I'm just going to go ahead and write that down. And we can see here the best tablets. The ePad, I think that's a Transformer, some version, running the ASOP browser, Android browser scores 3802, so a lot higher than Chrome. The iPad Safari scores 2639, and that's the iPad 4, sorry, and the iPad 3 scores 2609. So yeah, we need some work to do there, and we should be better off really. So let me go ahead and hit up my next benchmark, which is Peacekeeper. Here we go. You see that it actually loads the websites relatively quickly. You know, most websites are quite smooth, but yeah, let me go ahead and hit go here and let's see what this gives. Again, we've got another 5 minutes here, so I'm going to skip to the end of the results and I'll see you there. And there we have it, guys. We're at the end and we've got our results, and we've scored 676, and we can check out down here what the other tablets have got. And we are third in the list. The iPad 4 951, the Apple iPhone 5 907, Chrome 676. So in total, not a bad score actually. I mean, it's third in the list and quite a long way behind the iPad. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that in. And the last benchmark I'm going to do is going to be Google Octane. Let's check out what this gets. And then we can move on to a different browser. So here we go. Click run it now. Start. And you can see there it's done with a score of 2,611. Now I know that's just a number and doesn't mean much at the moment, but we'll see what the other browsers get and we'll see what it does. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out now. And you can see it had to reload there, so it was obviously using a lot of the memory doing those benchmarks. But I've closed out Google Chrome, and next up is going to be Delphin. And now that I've got Chrome out of the way, I'm just going to go ahead and say I don't use it. I don't use Chrome on this tablet because it's too slow and doesn't show the tablet's true performance. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I tested Engadget. I'm going to go ahead and do that again, and you'll see the difference. You can see it's loading here quite quickly. Page is coming up. It's actually still loading, and you'll see no whiteboards. In fact, I can fling it all the way down, all the way up, and it's super smooth. No white checkerboarding, no nothing. This is what Google Chrome needs to do if you want us to use it as its stock browser. Absolutely lightning speed, and it's still loading. Now, zooming is actually better on this as well. If we go ahead and pinch to zoom, you can see very responsive. So now you're thinking, what the fuck? Where the hell is Google Chrome at? Because this is so much smoother. Let's test how quickly the text clears up when I zoom in as well. You can see as soon as I let go, it is instant. It is basically instant. As soon as I zoom in, it's sharpened up. It's just so much better. This is pretty much the browser I do use, and you can see the performance is so much better. This is what the CPU in this thing is capable of. You can see it's just buttery smooth. Let me go ahead and try the same website. I tried The Verge next, I think. So we'll go ahead and hit The Verge up. And there's no preloaded browser loading on here, so it's slightly slower on the loading, but once it's loaded, look at that. That is just so much smoother than Chrome was, isn't it? I mean, if you can't see it, you must be blind, because it is. I think I've actually hit something there. My bad. We'll go back out. And there it is. Now, I just want to say something about this browser. You know, when I used to come downstairs from getting out of bed and stuff, I used to turn my laptop on and use that because I didn't want to use my Asus Transformer Prime because there was loads of problems and stuff. But not with this tablet and this browser. I use Dolphin all the time. I use it to answer all my questions on YouTube. It is perfectly performing. You can just see how smooth it is on the websites here. No white checkerboarding, no problems, super smooth. It's the best browsing experience I've had on Android, and you can just see how smooth it is. Now let me go ahead and open some more tabs and see how it performs then, because we saw that Chrome actually slowed down a bit. So let me go ahead and open Engadget. While that's loading, we'll open up Android Central. Leave that going. We'll open up, what did I have? YouTube, and one more. We'll have Android Community. Oh, I spelled Android wrong, brilliant. Android Community, there we go. And they're all loading and loaded, it looks like. So we'll go ahead and click the Verge. Verge is all there. Still very fast. Pinch to zoom. Still very responsive. We'll go ahead and click Engadget. Whoops, that just googled that, so we'll go ahead and click that now. And you can see there the pages, it's still loading, and it's super smooth even with all these tabs open. Pinch to zoom, again really smooth. Android Central already loaded. You can see there some HTML5. We'll go ahead and click that and see what happens. Did I hit it? No, I've hit it this time. Okay, so that just doesn't want to do anything. Oh, there we go. No volume.
Lumia 10 and more. This is the mobile
And while that's running, you know, still really smooth. Pinch to zoom, great. As I said again, the websites look brilliant, especially text on this display. It's flawless. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. We'll hit up YouTube. Yeah, that's fully loaded the desktop site as well, and epically smooth. So this is just really making Chrome look very bad, isn't it? Because look how smooth the performance is in this browser. And this is what really angered me about the earlier reviews, because they just looked at Chrome and said, yeah, the browsing performance isn't very good, and I knew that it was just Chrome being Chrome. It just isn't ready yet. So you can see the Verge, nice and smooth. Scroll all the way down. Engadget, very heavy website, all the way smooth. Android Central, smooth. YouTube, smooth. And Android Community, smooth. Even with all the tabs open, everything is epically smooth. The browsing performance on this machine is fantastic with the right browser. And let me specify that it needs to be the right browser. Even with all these tabs open, it's performing very well. So yeah, that's the Dolphin walkthrough. Let's check out the Dolphin benchmark. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same ones I did. We'll hit up, and again I'll see you at the end because I can't be bothered to record all the benchmarks. Okay guys, and we're back with the results, and man is it astoundingly different to Chrome. I'll zoom in for you here. That's right, 885.7. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that in. That is in comparison to Chrome's 1343. So an absolute amazing difference. So if we call that 900, you're looking at like 450 milliseconds off, and that's not very accurate, but that's just quick. It's already 450 milliseconds quicker than Chrome was. So come on Chrome, catch up. There are browsers out here that can do it, and you're making this tablet look bad when, look at that score. That is a spectacular score from Dolphin there. So well done Dolphin, and we'll move on to the HTML5 test. HTML5 test. You just see how quickly this loads on here, and everything is so smooth and quickly on this browser. Now we scored 298 and 3 bonus points, so it actually does support less than Chrome does, because Chrome scored, what did Chrome score? Chrome scored 390 plus 11, so it's 100 plus points more for Chrome there. And interestingly enough, you'll read this here, you're using an unknown browser that imitates Safari on Mac OS, so that's completely wrong because we're on Android, but it thinks we're imitating that browser. So there you go with that score. Chrome beats it there, but yeah, let's move on to some other ones. Next up is BrowserMark. So we've got BrowserMark loaded up, and we can see it's got the operating system, the browser, the WebKit version, and the tablet. We're in Europe. We're going to go ahead and launch the benchmark. And this is going to be another one, guys, that's quite long, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off and turn it back on when we have the results page. So I'll see you there. Okay guys, and we've got the results. By the way, I have had to plug my tablet in because it was going to run out of battery, but I'm sure that won't affect anything. We've actually got a score of 1392, and your browser is superior to 17% of tablet browsers. So if we go ahead and look at the Google Chrome result there, it's actually less. The Google Chrome scored 1724. This browser scores 1392. So yeah, another win for Chrome there, even though Chrome sucks. It's just interesting to see that though. Let's go ahead and move on to the next benchmark then. The next benchmark is Peacekeeper. The reason that might have been so low is that I was noticing at the bottom while running the benchmark, it did say network was unstable and skipping tests, so that might be a slight reason. I'm going to go ahead and hit go here, and like always this is another long one, so I'm going to go ahead and skip to the results. And we're back guys, and the result is in 973. So that has gone ahead and creamed Chrome. Chrome got a score of 676, and if we go ahead and look at the bar chart here, for some reason it thinks it's Safari, and that goes ahead and shows that it was imitating Safari and all that crap, but it beats the iPad 4. Very interesting to see, right? This tablet with a higher resolution and this browser, which is the Dolphin browser, beats the iPad 4. So I'm just going to say it one more time. It beats the iPad 4 and the iPhone 5 if you were interested. So Well done, Dolphin. You've smashed the Peacekeeper test. We've got one more to run here, and that's Google Octane. Okay, and we've got a score of 2,676. Much closer, this one, because the Google Chrome got 2,611. But this browser, again, is showing better performance in real life and in benchmarks, and that is the end of the Dolphin browser. So, I mean, that I can say now is my favorite browser. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Also, it doesn't take up as much memory. You didn't see any reloads there when I went out of it. Now, I have got a Firefox here, but I'm not going to do that because it's in beta and it's really long as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use Boat browser, which is a really simple browser, but it works really well. I'm going to go ahead and set the UA variant to Android, and we are going to just go ahead and do what I did before, which is check out Engadget. See, loading, and while it's loading, again, super smooth, no whiteboards there. Slightly actually whiteboards, but nothing to write home about. I am flicking this very fast, and this has the quickest scroll of any browser out there. Let's go ahead and test the pinch to zoom. Very, very responsive. You can see they're really, really responsive. Really nice. Text clears up very quickly. Very quickly there as well. Beautiful, beautiful text again on the screen. You can see you can just pan around it beautifully. Double tap. Double tap doesn't really do anything, but there you go. I never use double tap anyway. Yeah, good performance on Engadget, which is a heavy website. Let's check out The Verge. The Verge. And there we go. It's loaded, and again, great performance on The Verge, which is again a very heavy website and can sometimes even make desktops stutter. So you can see beautiful performance there. Pinch to zoom, awesome. Just very, very responsive. This is a really, really nice browser. It is probably between this and Dolphin, which one I use daily. Pinch to zoom, very good there. Bit of white, but nothing to write home about. You can see it just doesn't suffer from the same white checkerboarding that Chrome did. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do now is the opening of the tabs to see how the performance is when we open a lot of tabs, because on some tablets this can cause a lot of slowdown. I'm going to go ahead and hit up these. I've opened 5 on every other one, so I'm going to open 5 on this one. Let's go ahead and check them out. The Verge, all still there, all still very smooth. Engadget, again, all still there, all still very smooth. Android Central, Android Community, sorry, all there, all very smooth. YouTube, all there, all very smooth. And Android Central, lastly, all there, and all very smooth. So every one of them seems to handle tabs and general performance a lot better than Chrome does. Let's go ahead and go straight into the benchmarks now, because I am running out of time here and I've taken already quite a long time. And we're back, guys, with the results, and it's astounding. It's 774.1 milliseconds, so the fastest we've had yet. And I'm actually going to show you something that should interest you if you're interested in the iPad 4 and the comparisons. I already opened this. Now, it's someone's Twitter, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it probably is quite accurate. The iPad 4 on SunSpider gets 783. On this browser, it's beating it with 774.1. So, you know, whoever says this tablet isn't as good as the iPad in terms of browsing and benchmarks is just clearly wrong. So, yeah, that's SunSpider. Moving on to HTML5. See how well this browser supports HTML5. We come in with a score of 298 plus 3, so the same as Dolphin there. But Chrome smashes them all with 390. We'll quickly go over to browser mark because this video is getting quite long now, so I want to kind of speed it up. And Yeah, we'll run browser mark and see what it gets, and I'll skip to the end for the results. By the way, just quickly, that's really weird. It's like doubled it up. I'm not sure, it's obviously a browser issue there, but we're going to go ahead and hit it up anyway. And yeah, I'm skipping to the end. And we're back with the results, guys, and it scored 1270. So the lowest score in our browser mark. So that's really interesting there, because higher is better here, of course, and it's only superior to 12% of the tablets. So moving on to the next test is Peacekeeper. I had this open, interestingly enough. I'm pretty sure it's not going to make that much of a difference. But anyway, let's check out the Peacekeeper test. And yep, I'm going to skip to the end. So see the results. And we're back with the results, guys. And wow, Boat Browser has smashed it with 1029. I mean, you can see here, I don't know why it says Safari 4.0, but the iPad 4 gets 951. So this has kind of smashed that result. So yeah, the Boat browser is smashing the benchmarks currently. We've got one more to run, and that's the Octane one. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and skip to the end of this. And we're back with the results, guys, and it scored 2660. So that's it. That's all my benchmarks complete and my browser's complete. Let's get out of that, get rid of this, and just have a look at my little chart here. If you can fit that in. Should be able to read that well enough. What we can basically tell from it is Chrome does well in HTML5 and BrowserMark, but otherwise it kind of sucks. It gets 1343 in SunSpider. Boat absolutely smashes that, and that Boat score is better than the iPad 4, and the Peacekeeper score is better than the iPad 4 in both the Dolphin and the Boat, and the Peacekeeper score sucks in Chrome. So I mean, that's really interesting. The Octane scores are pretty much level. Peacekeeper scores are very different. Chrome does very well in BrowserMark, much better than the other two, but yeah, it just doesn't translate. I mean, you've seen the videos, and Chrome it's not unusable, but it's just not good. If you want my opinion, I really like Dolphin, even though it hasn't got the best results here. Probably Boat, I would say, has the best results. I like Dolphin, I like the way it looks. But clearly you can see here where the earlier reviewers said that the Nexus 10 wasn't very good at browsing. They were talking out of their arse, because it's better than the iPad 4 in the benchmarks, and it's very, very good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all later.